Howdy, Michael the Mercedes guy here, and we're going to replace this Euro glass headlight cover. When you see moisture like this inside, not good. It cuts down on your the quality of your light, and what's happened, a little rock chip is busted out. And of course, going down the road when it's raining, moisture gets in there and it just never really gets out properly, unless it's hot summer. So, to replace the glass, we need to remove the headlight assembly. So, start by removing this amber turn signal with this thumb nut in here that is not easy to get to. And when removing or installing these ambers, do not pull it this way. You want to move it straight forward by pushing on the stud. That's because there's two little fingers right here that break off very easily. They go in these two slots here. So, somebody's done a poor job of assembly here. I'm going to put on a terminal end on there. So we'll just pop this out by turning it. Setting this down. Then we have access to these two screws. And then there's two more screws right here. Now as you remove these screws, you want to keep track of this little clip. That's supposed to actually stay in place back here, but one of the legs is broke off, so I didn't lose that into oblivion there. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of protection here for when we do our assembly, because we don't want our new glass to be riding around on the chrome bumper. You don't really need to do this for disassembly if you're throwing away that lens. But we'll put it on right now. Holding on to this assembly here. Now, this has the vacuum line for the leveling device. And rather than trying to pull off a hose, you always push it off. It comes off much easier. And then gradually work this connector off. And there we go. Now this glass is held on by these clips. That pry off very easily. You don't pry this way on the glass side. You put it in on the back side. Those come right off. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off next. Now, these glasses can be really embedded in there at times. Ah, this is coming out real easy. Now, since we don't have a new gasket with the new lens, we're going to be reusing this seal. So we want to not rip it. It came off nice. Now, there's moisture in here. I'm going to set this over in the sunlight and let it bake. Then we want to actually keep track of the orientation of this gasket, because it only goes on one way, as you can see. Okay. And this is like glued on there, so you want to be pretty careful. The rest of it comes off pretty limp, right? And you notice rather than pulling, I'm rotating. Being very careful here so I don't rip it. All right. Now, this is also wet. And I want to orient it the same way, so I'm just going to mark that with a piece of tape. So I know that this side right here goes on this side here. We'll wipe this, and then we'll also put it in the sun. Okay, now while that's drying, I'm going to put on a new terminal on here. Now I can see that somebody has put a crimp-on connection on there, and I hate those things. If you ever run into electrical problems, look for crimp-on connections, because it's probably that. So I'm going to solder this wire on that terminal. And I need a 4-pin bakelite connector, which I'll get. Alrighty, I've pulled the tape off, so I know the orientation of this gasket, and we're going to coax it into there. Now, sometimes it helps to use a little bit of glue, but if you can do it without. Okay, so We're ready for installation of the glass. No, we aren't. I'm going to actually clean this reflector slightly, but you don't want to be scouring at it. You want to use tissue and alcohol. You can actually scratch the silvering. Now, as you can see, it's lost all its silvering right here, so I'm going to show how to fix that. Okay, I've used tissue and some rubbing alcohol to just make one swipe on the reflective surface. You don't want to keep rubbing at it or you'll lose the coating. And then to repair this lack of reflective coating there, we've got some of this chrome tape you can buy at your auto parts store. And it's been around a while, so it's got a little bit of wrinkle to it. All right, vastly improved. Now we're ready for our lens. Just show some dirt on that. All righty. Now, just to be on the safe side, we're going to go around this. With a piece of tape, so it isn't going to be getting away from us. So what I'm doing there is putting it on the glass and then pushing that direction. I spring it open and push that direction. You always want to wear glasses doing this, or some kind of protective lenses, because there can be a chip of glass fly off of there. All right, and then the installation is just the reverse of the removal.